welcome. Today I am with the Marian Cenacle members, and all these people here are going to introduce themselves to you, that you may get to know something about them. Let me start with Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris Shane. I'm actually a cradle Catholic, but to be honest with you, probably a lukewarm Catholic for a lot of my life. I moved to Essex and have been a member of the Parish since 1986. The reason I'm here and part of this is I had a very personal experience in Medjugorje. In 1996, I went to Medjugorje, and frankly, it changed my life. I have a real devotion to Our Lady that came out of Medjugorje. She actually talked to me, I believe. I really do believe that. And I've never been the same since. So when we had the opportunity, so this whole group does the Rosary, we also do Divine Mercy, we're at Mass every day. And so the Marian Movement of Priests for me was just an extension of what we already do. I know we're going to talk about it, but the thing about the Marian Movement of Priests for me is our contact with the Immaculate Heart of Mary. That's the point of this. The Immaculate Heart of Mary is asking us to pray with her to make the church better. So that's me.
Now, Charles, would you please?
Yes, I joined the parish, St. Teresa of Calcutta Parish, in 2019. And that was after living in Chester. We moved out here in 2006, but I was a parishioner and continued to attend St. Mary's in Clinton. And I mentioned prior to this chat that I had some difficulty removing myself from St. Mary's because I had a lot of emotional ties to that particular church. And even though I was living in Chester but attending St. Mary's, I was getting more and more involved at St. Joseph's and at Our Lady of Sorrows. And it just, it was really a struggle for me to make the decision to become a parishioner of St. Teresa of Calcutta. And one of the things that were involved in my decision to join this particular parish was I had been very parochial in my thinking. That, you live in a certain town, you attend that particular church, you get married in that church, that's the church that you attend, and so on. And then it occurred to me that Catholicism is universal. It's a universal church. And Jesus is present in every church that you go to. And the attachments that I had to St. Mary's in Clinton were coming from me. They were coming from my own head and my own heart. Even though I was hardly attending Mass at St. Mary's any longer. So I made the decision to finally break my ties with St. Mary's, my physical ties with St. Mary's. Like I said, Jesus is present everywhere, and if you're yoked with him, you're yoked with every church that you go to. So that's how I ended up here.
Thank you. Masha, can you?
Yes,
speak
hi,
about you?
I'm Masha Rollinson. I live in Chester. I have been a parishioner at St. Teresa of Calcutta Parish since 2013. I arrived a couple months after Father. I've always been involved in the Catholic Church doing various things, belonging to different organizations. And when I came to this church, I had been praying for a long time for myself to become more prayerful. And when I did join this church, Angie approached me and asked me if I wanted to join the Cenacle. I had no idea what it was about, but I did end up joining. And that is how I became part of the Cenacle.
Thank you. Sandy?
Yes, I have been a member of this parish for 52 years. My husband and I were married by Father Murphy in the church in 1969 when we joined. Our son, Wayne.
1959?
No, 69.
69.
I'm sorry. Okay, 1969 when we were married 52 years ago. Our son, Wayne, went through all the sacraments and took part in the church. I became involved in many of the ministries of the church and enjoyed each and every one of them. And I just really made a lot of friends and have enjoyed being a member of this church. It just gives you a sense of peace.
Thank you. Mary Ellen, would you please?
Okay, I'm Marian Casalino. I'm the mother of 3, the grandmother of 5, and I came to this church in 1995 and met quite a few very nice people here. And I used to go to the Historical Society and work in the archives. And the girls in church were saying the rosary, so I went in and said the rosary with them. And they all convinced me that I had to just start the Cenacle. So in 2000, I started the Cenacle. And I think the rosary is really important to all people. And I enjoy the Cenacle, and I've learned quite a bit, and I've expanded since I joined.
Thank you. Angie?
I had one thing to say that I had heard a little while ago, and I have to read it so I won't forget everything. I heard a song that says, "Getting to my best years yet, the older I get, the longer I pray." And I guess the more I have to say. And as far as what the Cenacle was, it was come and join us. Just pray the rosary, keep praying. And when I joined this parish in 2006, the first people that approached me were not for the Cenacle, but for the Third Order of Mary. And then I said, well, I've retired and I have time in between family illnesses and taking care of the family. So Mary Ellen, Terry, Kathy, and Betty Mayers said, you must join this group also. And I found out of all of this, it's the calmness and the peace that you get. And the rosary is continually with me, whether it's in my pocket, it's always with me. And I've been a Eucharistic minister in this parish for 18 years. And before that, there was the other priest that we had, and the pastor of our other parish at St. Teresa's in East Granby. He had called up and he said, Angela, I have no one that has said that they will join anything here at this church. Please become a Eucharistic minister. I see you and Al in church every Sunday. He said, and plus other days, whatever, and you're always here to help. So I found out of all of this, everywhere you go, the prayer is always with you, the rosary is always with you, and the most important thing was the Blessed Mother is always with us, and I feel so much better, and the calm and the peacefulness is something I cannot describe. So maybe it's my heart has finally opened up, and I feel so much better. And when you're seeing Father raising his hands with the chalice and the host, that's the only thing I can describe. I finally have found peace in a place that makes me feel so good, and I'm blessed. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, most of the people in our parish probably do not know what is a Cenacle and what we do in the Cenacle. So, Chris, I'll start with you. Can you explain to the people immediately after the Friday Mass what prayers that we do? Can you do that?
Yeah, I actually was thinking of bringing a book. We have a sort of a white book, which basically is the general prayer book, and then we have this big blue book, which is basically sermons is the wrong word. Revelations from Our Lady. The Marian movement of priests actually started in 1972, There's a Father Gobi, was part of a small group of priests who felt that the church was losing its way, that it was getting involved in more worldly stuff, and we needed to have a better way of bringing the church back. And so he started the Marian movement of priests, and it's taken off since then. So as part of this whole movement, he actually would have locutions with Our Lady on a monthly basis. And he would then write those locutions down in this blue book. And each week, one of us picks a passage, and we actually go through it. And so the whole, it's almost like it's a continuation of what we do in every daily Mass, and it's a beautiful way of ending the week. So we start off, we do the Divine Mercy Chaplet. After the Divine Mercy Chaplet, we do the Rosary. And because it's a once on a Friday, we don't necessarily do the Sorrowful Mystery. One person chooses from the White Book what the appropriate thing that's touched them that week. And so they lead us in Rosary, which goes really, really well. And of course, it's the same group, and it's a very powerful group. And I want to agree with Angela here. There is real peace and power in this group that we have. I felt it especially last Friday, actually. It was a really, really powerful. So after we've done the Rosary, then one person will pick a passage from the readings. And so she appeared, didn't appear, she talked to Father Gobi from 1972 all the way through to 1996. So the final reading of the Marian Movement Priest Blue Book is 1996. And what I find, so there's various levels to this. So if you look at she always has a message. The message is always something that touches us and makes us think, and afterwards we go down, we discuss the message. But there's also a prophetic side to this too. So what is the message? The message is, I am the Immaculate Heart of Mary. I am the mother of the church. I want you to become Marian Movement of Priest followers and pray with me so that we can bring the church back to where it should be, to respect the Pope, to honor and fight the worldly stuff. And so she, like Medjugorje, a lot of other things, that there are forebodings that she talks about. She doesn't necessarily say they're going to happen, but if you don't, they will happen. And so I might have a different opinion than other people here. I'll be really curious to say however other things. She talks a lot over that 24 years about purification. We need to have purification back in the church. That's one of the many themes. And so this thing finished in 1996. Lo and behold, early 2000s, this whole thing about sexual abuse and everything came out. She was telling us. She wasn't telling us what it was going to be, but she was saying there is something going on in the church, especially in the priesthood, that I'm not happy with. And I want you as Marian Movement of Priest followers to pray so that we can purify and bring it back. So that's what it's, and on a personal level, the idea of having a devotion to Our Lady, and I agree with Angela, I know we all feel, the Rosary is such a powerful prayer. There's something about just saying the Rosary, even if there wasn't a spiritual, which there is, but even if there wasn't a spiritual aspect to it, there's a calming influence just about talking it and saying the Rosary. It physically brings you peace.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Now, after the prayer, everybody goes down, to Mother Hall, and they continue with the discussion. And almost always, I join them. Now, Mary Ellen, can you briefly explain on what we do in Mother Hall?
In Mother Hall, we'll have a cup of coffee and maybe a little cookie or something. But we talk about the message of the Blue Book, and it's really amazing how each person gets a little glimmer of something to share. And we share it and we understand it better because we all have something to say about it. And we enjoy the fellowship of being with each other and knowing that there's other people in this world who enjoy the Rosary, enjoy Father Gobi and what he says, and enjoy Mother Mary.
Thank you. Now let me speak to Marcia. what has been your personal experience when we share the faith, downstairs with people based on the readings? Would you have anything to speak about?
My personal experience is that when we do go downstairs and we share the readings and we share our thoughts and feelings, that many of us will share something in our lives that has happened and has touched us. And it's wonderful because, sometimes something that happens, you don't think of it as maybe, Mary talking to you or the Holy Spirit talking to you or guiding you. And that comes out when we share. We all share so many things, and we realize that, we're really all the same. We all have the same thoughts and feelings. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative. And there's a very high acceptance in our group of what we share. People accept you and they do not look down on you or judge you. And one of the best things for me is that Father said he comes most of the time, which he does. And there are so many things that we learn from Father in our meetings. Belonging to the Cenacle for me has really been a blessing in my life. Like I said, I was looking to be more prayerful. I had said the rosary previously, never like I do now. It's just so much more meaningful to me.